The quickest way to describe new Arctic Monkeys record? When you're released 12 years after the wild and catchy debut 6th album feels like it's coming out of this world. And I mean it quite literally, as this one takes us straight to the moon. Titular Tranquility bass is referencing an actual site of first moon landing. Here it is presented as a hotel/casino with taqueria on a rooftop that was rated 4 stars out of 5, which is apparently unheard of. 4 out of 5, first single of the album, paints the picture of a really hip place where you can relax, meet new people, and where exciting opportunities present themselves to anyone who is willing to grab them. Even despite this vision being futuristic and taken straight from science fiction story, it has distinctive retro feel to it. Definitely one of the catchiest and, quite honestly, most charming moments on the album. A big part in creating the final form of Tranquility bass hotel and casino had band's manager, who gave Alex a Steinway Vertegrand piano as a birthday gift, which was used by Alex as a main instrument in his Los Angeles-based home studio Lunar Surface. What we get as a result is a spacey, loungy and jazzy trip to the imagination of Alex. Departure from guitar-driven sound was something that a long-time Monkeys fans were worried about the most. Guitars are still there, though they are just not star of the show on this one, giving more space to piano and vintage synthesizers. Lyrics are quite fun aspect of Tranquility bass and are presented often in a stream of consciousness style. Alex touches subjects of technology, fame, social media and even politics on track Golden Trunks, where he compares Donald Trump to a wrestler. He points out the overabundant access to information, which paradoxically leaves us even more confused. There is a lot of great one-liners, most notably with now famous opening line in Star Treatment, where Alex Turner admits with disarming honesty that he just wanted to be one of the Strokes. And that is how you effectively grab attention right from the start. My personal favorite from the new album, She Looks Like Fun, is probably the most rock-ish song here. The theme of this track touches the subject of being basically addicted to social media and creating an online persona which is not necessarily honest. It becomes consuming and more important than the real world. I also highly recommend the performance that band gave at the Late Late Show with James Corden, which proves that they didn't forget how to rock. There is also commentary about how even religion can be experienced through technology in this dystopian society, thanks to weekly video chat calls with God on track American Sports. Music on this album also feels pretty cinematic. Listening to it involuntarily, I had visuals popping in my head like directly taken from Jean-Pierre Melville movies. Listening to this album is a little bit like actually visiting the universe it describes, feeling the overall vibe through vivid imagery. There is also a lot of inspiration from David Bowie, both when it comes to vocal delivery as well as a musical style, which conveys similarities to Ziggy Stardust era. If you want to introduce someone to Arctic Monkeys music, I wouldn't necessarily start with this one. Probably wherever people say I am, that's what I am not, or my favorite from them, inspired by stoner rock and co-produced by Josh Homme, a criminally underrated Humbug would be more representative, as well as direct Tranquility bass predecessor AM, which I find to be very stylish and enjoyable. With that being said, I still think that listening to Tranquility bass can be both very immersive and fascinating experience if given proper attention. I appreciate the ambition and courage behind it, because honestly they could just record another guitar-driven indie rock album, but instead they went into direction that nobody would expect them to go. They took stylistic leaps between their records before, but never such a big one like on Tranquility bass hotel and casino. Alex had admitted in one of the interviews that he grown tired of composing with guitar, and it was natural for him that his Steinway took his creativity to new places. Drumming from Matt Helders is more restrained as compared with earlier releases, which plays well with character of compositions. Same goes with thick bass lines from Nick O'Malley. It is also not driven by singles or immediately memorable hooks in every song. Which of course doesn't mean that this album is forgettable, it's just not instantly rewarding. I appreciate artists daring to release music which goes against general expectations, requiring patience in a world dominated by singles where albums as a whole are valued more and more only by dedicated music fans. I can also understand that Tranquility Base will divide older fans, but this record is a classic example of a grower. At the beginning I also felt that song after song it started to kind of blend together, but once I dived into lyrics and got immersed into Alex Turner's imagination unraveling, it gave this whole project new perspective and depth to it. As a matter of fact, we dive so deep into his thought processes that it almost feels like we are listening to his solo project. Also, catching all the sci-fi references scattered throughout the record is also a lot of fun. I believe that it is worth to give it another chance if you were initially disappointed with Tranquility Base, Hotel and Casino, as it might eventually click with you too.